All right, let's begin. To our Twitch viewers, thanks for joining me this wonderful Saturday afternoon. We really appreciate it. Apologize for not streaming on Friday. Just an extremely busy day at work. So again, for reference, things are getting busier at work. So my weekly stream schedule, recording schedule may be a little bit broken due to this. But, that's just the way it goes. To my YouTube viewers, I've got plenty of videos in reserve, so I'll be able to try to keep a relatively steady upload schedule. Although I do tend to forget because I usually try to upload a new video or a video after my stream. And those days that I don't stream, I kind of forget to upload a video because, again, I'm still too tired. So it's almost a moot point. So where we left off in the last video, the last stream, was we made changes to the board. We verified everything. We did some validation. And I ordered PCBs and the USB UART chips. So one of the first things I want to do is, let's go here. So before I get too far from what I was doing or what needs to be done, we're going to create a new section because I think we're kind of beyond the prototype phase. We're going to do update phase. That's what we'll call it. First update. Maybe first major revision. First revision. So let's go and just copied. Let's make sure that is 66, D66. So yeah, okay. Go ahead and drag this down. That way we have some blocks to work with. We can kind of let's get rid of some of these delete rows. Insert rows above there. There we go. That way we kind of stay consistent. So let's make sure our met-to-date E88 still covers it. Let's go to E200. That way we don't have to worry about updating it for a while. All right. So since this was a update or a revision, so let's get into our stencils. We're just going to throw everything here. Our cost. There we go. All right, good. Our allocations or numbers are changing. That is awesome. And then we have 10 USB UART ICs. We're just going to throw the total cost in here. All right. Make sure. Yeah. All right. So there we go. I just want to make sure that we keep our okay, so everything's been shipped. Everything was shipped 2 days ago for the Mauser stuff. So should be here probably middle of the week. I'm not too terribly worried on that. PCBs, the stencils manufactured. Let's see here. The PCBs, they're about 18% done. So they're still in the manufacturing process. No big deal. So definitely won't see them for at least probably a week once you factor in shipping and stuff. So we definitely won't be getting to the Rev 2 build anytime soon, but that's fine. Just want to make sure everything stays on track here with our budget. That's done. So one of the things that I want to do to take some of this time is to redraft some of this stuff. All right. Right now we're going to go to the projects. I know I need to really push a lot of this stuff over. Don't need resources. All right. Project documents. All right. So, yeah, this is kind of cool. You know, like I was saying before, that I wanted to use Markdown language because, you know, Visual Studio is free and you get the cross-platform. But, you know, LibreOffice is also free, and there's cross-platform. And honestly, I think having things better organized in like a Word type document would be a lot cleaner and neater, more human readable. This is nice and all, but yeah, let's human read this. So we got to kind of figure out how we want to format this and make it look. So what we're going to do is this is going to be that test plan, because obviously we kind of need to adapt it mainly for the changes to the board, the addition of the test points, because there's a bunch of other new measurements we're going to want to double check that we weren't able to before, even though technically it was a success and the board pretty much worked for the most part, other than the ADC Unit 2 problem that we've discovered with the ESP32 and the lead C driver. So let's kind of figure out how we want this to look. So what I'm thinking is insert header and footer. So let's go to the header. So, all right. So document number. So basically what we can do is kind of doc number maybe. Let's try something here. Title. Let's go here. Doc number. Let's see here. Doc number. Rev. And if you wanted to do something a little fancy to put your logo here. Let's see here. Maybe. Let's see. Right, Rev. Date. All right, let's kind of stick with that. So what we're going to do is open this guy. back up a little bit. Technically that is that. But what are we replacing? So it's gonna be a test plan. So let's go ahead and kind of, it's technically going to be part of the QMS system. So let's go ahead and save as. Let's we're gonna actually save it as a Word document. Template. Okay. I know we can save it as an actual template file and use it when creating new files, but sometimes it's just as easy to not mess with that. So we're being very simplistic here, but that's just the way we're doing it. Okay, so the doc number, the title. Footer. Let's see here. Test plan template doc. So ISO and QMS, we're kind of trying to think of a way we can all right. I know there's supposed to be a to insert like page numbers and stuff. Page number. Footer, right. That. All right. Well. Page 1. That. Don't know what that does. So I guess that's fine. Okay, we'll kind of figure this out because we're going to want to kind of give this like an official quality management form, because this will be like a template that we draw from that other documents, that other test plans would use in the long, further down the road. So let's kind of insert table. 2 columns. Let's see here. Let's see, what do we want? We're going to make it a table. So we're going to want to identify basically who owns the document, and any concurrences or, additional approvals. Like basically a function over here, their name, and then maybe a date. So 3 columns. Let's try that. I could give it a heading. Let's not worry about that. Oh, styles. Oh, didn't know we could do that in here. Well, it's just default table style. Okay. Can I? Oh, good. We can. Okay, table 1. Columns. Okay. Okay, so we can add more rows. So ownership, name, actually role, name, and date. So this would be owner. All right. So what we're going to do is insert row below. Document concurrence. Okay. Kind of get that away from the top a little bit. Document concurrence, and then we can always throw in like another one if we want to. Document owner, document concurrence, even management approval. So we could do that. All right. And then if we want, we could insert another table. Let's see here. Columns. Let's see here. Revision, note, ECN. So we'll go there. Yeah, rev. Engineering change number. That drove that. So to below. All right, so looks like we can. Good. UCN. There we go. All right. All right. But before we get too far, let's close this. Let's go here. Let's go ahead and give this a number. QA dash. There we go. Open with LibreOffice. That way we stay consistent. There we go. QA 0001. All right. I don't like how this is up here and that's down here, but that's perfectly fine. What we can do is kind of drop its size a little bit so it's not as. There we go. All right. This is basically for traceability in the QMS system. All right. So Rev. Oops, or something. All right. All right. So we're going to kind of look here. I'm going to drag this off the screen to make it a little easier so I don't have to flip back and forth. So we could kind of come back up here and so doc ID. Okay. Well, we'll start there. We'll start there. Rev 1. Is this the first rev of this document? Okay. All right, we're getting somewhere. So there's nothing in these guys yet. Nothing in there yet. So purpose and scope. No. Let's see here. Okay. Purpose and scope. So I'm trying to figure out these headings and stuff. Scope. Okay, we'll stick with that. Materials. Oop, okay, heading. Prior to testing. All right. So what we're going to do is we will kind of all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into one. So this is always going to be all right. Oh. So I kind of like that then. Purpose and scope. So I don't. Section 1, visual inspection. Okay. That's section 1, visual inspection. All right. This section is to undesired operation. So basically just kind of, what we're doing there. So a lot of things we can kind of predefine. Test section 1. So the first thing we definitely want to do is that. So PS1-0001. All right. Any defects such as soldering or holding IPC criteria okay. Visually inspect the okay. So what happens if we change this to heading 1? No, I don't like that. Heading 2. No, I don't know why it indexes it like that. Heading heading 1. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, kind of cool. Okay. I wonder if we can bold. Kind of make it stand. Yeah, there we go. Kind of make it stand out a little bit. Bold. Bold. Let's grab these guys so far. 14 point. I'm a little bit bigger. Well, they do stand out a little bit more. There we are. Okay. Visual inspection. Okay. The project. Okay. So one of the things we can kind of do, purpose and scope, require materials. Purpose and scope. I don't want that. I want bold and 12 point. All right, first this time. Oops. Wendy. Testing. Validate. Requirements. The associated project. Scope of this is limited to the project. Scope of this document is project only. All right. Okay. Okay. So required materials. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up as a bullet point, set up a bullet list, and then we can always add to it later down the road. Like I said, I'm trying to drop a template, kind of get a template going, and then we'll kind of get some basic things in here. Copy this test plan for the project. For the all right. All right, there we go. Okay, put that there. Enter test plan log file here. Serialized PCB assembly. All right, and then what we will do is enter additional items as necessary. Prior to testing. So prior to testing, we will customize that. Test section 1, visual inspection is pretty much prior to testing. Or materials for process. time. Test and issue. Remedied and take notes on the issue and what okay. Not be resolved. Wait. For next fusion steps. Issue cannot be resolved. Stop listing and LD to direct supervisor for next steps. Again, we're basically writing the procedure for in case you have employees. Or the test plan. All right, visual inspection. All right. So we can add more tests as necessary to this. And we're going to put add maybe appropriate. Here. Go. So we're going to go to section 2. Prior to power up. So that is heading 16 in bold. Yeah, prior to power up. Okay. So, okay. You want 12. Identify help identify if it's were there we go. For word to be energized. Yeah. Let's do some fancy wording there. So this would be where we would throw in all of our tests, and basically it would kind of mimic it'd be like TS 2-0001. That would leave us a lot of potential tests, but as we've seen, there are, test 2, test 3, test 4. So yeah, we are going to be writing a lot of tests. All right. Prior to power up. So these are where we're going to do all the resistance measurements to make sure there's no shorts, to make sure nothing is connected weird. All right. All right. And then limited current power up. Might be easier just to kind of do really a low current or low voltage supply in order to locate problems severe failure. To mitigate any. That way we can just grab this guy. Heading 16 volt. There we go. And then it'll be the same way. TS test section 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. And then those will have a matching limited current. Limited current and voltage power up. All right. All right. And then 4. Full power up. Basic testing. At expected level. Okay. It's always helpful. I've always found it to be helpful to explain what the whole purpose is of that section of the test. Plus, it helps keep you focused on what you're actually trying to do. So this should be ES4-1, test section 4, test 1, basically. All right. So now PCB subsystem testing. Testing systems of the operation where to any full integration to catch all right. Okay, do that dirt. All right. PCB assembly subsystem testing. And that should be all that we need to do. Because a lot of electronic assemblies, they serve a purpose, so they'll have their own like subsystems, like maybe ADC inputs or basic outputs that we can control, even if it's just basic like analog or digital logic, we can still kind of rate testing for that. They would still be subsystems prior to full system integration, which means most PCBs are designed for a specific purpose to fit into a specific application, and you want to kind of make sure everything works as best as possible before they start getting integrated into their final application. So that's what we'll do, is we'll call this the template, and I think it's fine for now. So what we're going to need then, all right, so we have the master document list here. Yeah, let's work on changing that too before we get too far gone. All right, so the master document list. All right. Okay. So let me grab that. To save this as save as. Again, we're going to go to Office Excel file and master document list. We're going to follow the very similar format, but we're going to definitely work on making it nicer, something a little prettier. Okay, so I'll go up here. And there's a bunch of, and what I like about using this is we can kind of make some nice sections. So, all right. So let's first come down a couple of rows. MDL code. Title, let's see here. So I want to be able to scroll. Data. I think it's freeze rows and columns. Nope. So we're going to go down below. View. There we go. Deal code. Title. Okay. So let's just create a section. I'm not terribly worried about what it's going to look like yet. We're going to kind of, oh, that's kind of cool. Let's go a little later. Like I said, we're gonna go through and clean all this up. So quality documents gets its own section heading, and yeah, it's gonna take totally. Let's see, QA 001. So QA-1231. So its title will be quality documents. We could quality templates. Probably be a little bit better, a little smarter. It doesn't really matter. Users are 1, and it is QA. Oh, wrong button. Burp. QA. Wait real quick so I can. Okay, that way we can get an idea how much space we want to allocate. So the MBO code is fine being in that size. So let's kind of expand that over a little bit. Merge cells. Merge cells. All right. All right, so MBO code title. All right, so let's go back to here. All right, so we have that title, we have a description. And I don't think we really need a description. No. Owner. Let's see here. That would be design lead. No, yeah, design lead, that's fine. We can leave that like that. Location. Definitely location. It's going to have to be a file path, so we're going to definitely need it to be like that. Revision. Don't need anything fancy for that. Is it controlled? And retention. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and merge cells. 20 documents. Okay. So we're going to come over here and grab this. Format cells. Border. go. Okay, let's grab this, do the same thing. Just going to drag this down a couple. Do we have a clear contents? Yes. All the text basically. All right, so quality documents. Owner, okay, so that's the test plan template. And then, let's see, we'll have like... just kind of, because we can just add more rows as we need to insert. We're going to control V. So we're going to call that SOPs. Come here, grab that. All right, then we do this. Work instructions. So we can have a specific section because many projects, as you'll see, will have their own requirements and their own documentation associated with them, which will be in the master documents list because that's what this is for, to store everything. And the reason for this is this grows. You can do Control F and do a search for a specific section and go there directly. Because as this grows, you add more rows, you add more documentation, more quality, everything starts getting buried. But with this, you have your sections. If you know what sections you're looking for, you can do a search like SOPs. We can just do WIs. That might be work instructions. There we go. All right. Okay, we'll just leave it work instructions. And then the project stuff, you can search for the project number or the name, because we'll try putting that here. All right, so we have our first new entry in the master documents list, in the new updated list that uses an Excel format in LibreOffice. Honestly, I think this is just going to be better, easier. It's just more visually appealing. It's easier to follow and understand what you're looking at. Like I said, the markdown language is nice. It's great, but it's not that easy on the eyes. So what we need to do then is, since this is that, go here, projects. I'm going to move this over here. Project number P101. Associated documentation. Separate control. There. Okay. So now we can have that. And then we'll just have to kind of give them codes for, basically the test plan. So that's a template, QA, but this will have its own document number. So we might have had to make that bigger. I'm not sure. Because it's just a document code. P. Yeah, here, let's go and get that in here. And let's go ahead. Home. I'm okay with that. So any other document that'll be associated with this will be labeled that. What we're going to do is call this test plan. There we go. There is design lead, location. We're going to go and say it's revision 2. It's going to be controlled yes. And it's going to be, for the sake of argument, so if you're doing projects for customers, they may have requirements for how long you hold on to documentation. Other than that, you can set your requirements on how long. Also, you would need to look at things like any regulatory compliance. Some documents are required to be held on to for longer due to the compliance. So that's something to keep in mind. So retention, we're just going to say 5 years. That's how long we'll hold on to the test plan. It's going to be digital, so it's just basically a matter of space. So like a process, an SOP that we'd want to eventually draft up would be a document retention policy and how to deal with disposal of documents, like paper documents, because you'll have like invoices, maybe certain paperwork you need to hold on to, and they'll have retention policies. You have to dispose of them properly to protect confidentiality, like of your customers and stuff. So we're getting there. So we need to get here, so controller, project documents, test log. So this, let's go and grab this. You know what? No, let's clean this up. -2, dash. Revision 2 test plan. There we go. So we're going to come back to this guy. We're going to file, save a copy. We're going to go back here to projects, stepper controller, project documents. And we're going to here. There we go. Vision 2 test plan. And we've got that. Let's close that out. Open that guy up with get back in here real quick. All right. Doc ID. All right. So that is going to be It's just this ID number P10122025001-1. We're going to go ahead and call this Rev 2 just because it's more fair. Date. Number. It's going to be the same thing. P101.202501. And there's going to be 2 test plan. Vision 2 test plan. So here. Date. All right. So then what we'll do is, like I said, we've got to wait on parts to come in to build another board, to build the revision 2. So we're going to try to catch up with some of this document, get the test plan written up, get the associated log file for this one created and updated. We'll just kind of take the one that we already created, kind of refresh it to make it match this stuff, and all that stuff. So I think we'll just end here. I think it's a good spot before we get into filling this out and pulling in the old stuff, reformatting it, making it make more sense, be less wordy, make it look nicer. I think that's what we'll do in the next video. Again, we're back to paperwork, but again, this is important. I keep kind of ignoring the importance of it and pushing it off because I'd rather build and design, but this is important, and I don't want to overlook this any longer than I absolutely have to. Because the more we do now, as we move along, the less we'll have to deal with towards the tail end of the project, right before we go to launch, because there's going to already be a lot of stuff there. So I thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon. I really appreciate it, and we will catch you tomorrow afternoon. Thanks, and take care.